Okay, Trig, we're back to those formulas. So on the right, I'm introducing a new group of formulas. Again, just like the difference in some angle formulas, you don't need to memorize these. You just need to be able to use them, okay? So this lecture, we're going to look at half angle formulas over here. You can tell there's quite a bit of them. So again, don't need to memorize them, just need to be able to use them. The sine and cosine, these are the same equation. They're just rewritten in different forms. Just to have different representations. Sometimes when we're using identities, we might come up with a sine squared of theta, and then that's when we might want to use this side, and then double angle over here, right? Anyway, check it out. This is where we're going to start. The first part here is we are always trying to answer this question of what is theta? What is theta, right? The problem is we got this angle that just doesn't look good. 22.5 is not an angle we can evaluate. So what we want to do is we want to think of a theta that we could. So we have some ideas now. We could add or subtract two numbers that we like 45 and 30, to get to this. Well, there's no way to make 22.5 with addition and subtraction. Remember, with angles that we like. So this one is a half angle formula where we're saying, hey, 45 is a sweet angle, and 45 divided by 2 is 22.5. Okay, so what we have here is a theta divided by 2 on each side. So what we're saying here is that our theta is 45 degrees. This is huge. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the cosine half angle formula, and we're going to say, hey, we see that this cosine should be 45. So we're going to use this formula where we've identified a theta that we like, 45. And when we divide it by 2, it's the same as the question, right? Then we're just going to take the left side. That's the side we see. And we're going to build the right side. So we're just going to throw 45 into theta. See how theta is divided by 2 on the left, but on the right, it's by itself. So then from there, it's just basic trig where we're going to evaluate this function, okay? So we're going to just say that it's going to be equal. Well, roots come out negative or positive, right? 1 plus, well, what's cosine at 45 degrees? It's root 2 over 2. And then we have divided by 2. Now, I want you to simplify in here as much as you can, but at the end of the day, you're going to get stuck at some point where you're not going to be able to simplify, like you're going to be taking a square root of a square root. So don't go crazy here, but remember, I don't want irrational denominators, and this fraction action at the top is not very nice either. So I would clean this up one more step or two, but don't get too crazy. You're going to end up with a radical plus or minus the radical, okay? So here's a harder one to see. Remember, what we're saying is we could take a theta and we could times it by 2, or we could take a theta and we could divide it by 2 to get an answer, right? So if we take a theta and divide it by 2, remember our fraction math, that means it's like 1/2 times the theta, right? Which is basically this. So it'd be like 9 pi over 4. See how this would make that? And see how it's the same as multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. And of course, we see that this is just a theta of a reference angle that we're really used to. It's the same one. It's 45. So it's pi over 4 here. So again, we're going to go back, see that we have a half angle formula. We're going to go find tangent's half angle formula. This is the guy we're using. We've determined theta as pi over 4. So this is the side we're actually going to solve for, right? So we just put in pi over 4, and there we are again to plus or minus 1 minus root 2 over 2 as the as the numerator, and then 1 plus root 2 over 2. And the same thing here, guys. Rationalize the denominator, kill some fractions, but at the end of the day, you're going to be having plus or minus the square root of some fraction in here, with a radical in it probably. Okay, not pretty answers, but are they exact? You bet, which is the whole point, right? We're trying to pick a theta so that we can find an exact value without a calculator, okay? If you have any questions, holler, but it's the same as sum and difference. Use the formula, use it to get to the other side to find an exact value. All right, talk to you later.